so I can live better in this world. That kind of prayers, for that there are demigods. Krishna is delegating to, hey, take care of him. He's praying here really badly. But Krishna is not available really. Krishna is Hari. Hari is the one who actually diminishes or takes away all the assets which ties up to this world. It's this amazing lecture from Srila Prabhupada on Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj's appearance day. Where Prabhupada describes how he joined Krishna consciousness. He describes how he met devotees and how he met his spiritual master first time, and how he was, more and more taking part, from his pharmacy in Allahabad. And all this, and of course the lecture culminates in a total breakdown. Prabhupada just, defines actually in that lecture all his disciples being his gurus. Why? Because they were sent by Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj to assist him. Then Prabhupada completely breaks down and starts to cry, and that's the end of the lecture. Because the impact of that mercy, this is what's the most inspiring aspect of Krishna consciousness is. And then, then our actions, our prayers, everything gets authorized. Krishna is listening, and then in the same lecture, Prabhupada, he says amazing things. He says, yes, and then Krishna bankrupted me. My business, actually he doesn't say, he said, my business didn't went very well. As he describes as he got initiated by Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj. But my business didn't went very well. And devotees are laughing in the back. Because they know, if Prabhupada's business would go well, he would not sit there and he would not be with them. That's as simple as that. So the devotees enjoy. Prabhupada's business went bad. Very good. This kind of lectures very enjoyable for devotees. Prabhupada said it, he must have made some face because you can see the instant response how devotees are laughing. It's like, my business didn't went very well. Krishna took it all. Then Prabhupada explains how Krishna is, when he exhibits his special mercy, he is actually taking away things from devotee like this. There's a few more things, actually he's saying that's just amazing, Very personal. Devotees enjoyed it so much when Prabhupada kind of stopped. It was very rare, it was not so common, that Prabhupada kind of left the line of the lecture and became very, very personal, became biographic, autobiographic. And devotees, this was so sweet, it was so enjoyable to see these moments. The Prabhupada became really, really personal. So this is actually the enjoyment for devotee, to see Krishna's hand in everything. How he is bankrupting me, how he is, freeing me more and more from my attachments. Therefore, Kamis may think that this man went mad. He's losing, he's suffering, and he's laughing. Oh, great! Krishna took this too. It's also gone. And you must be mad to think like this. Kamis will go, oh no, I want this back, and how could this happen? And the devotee goes, finally it's gone. I remember even this one sannyasi in Mayapur who had a paralyzed leg. He was walking on crutches. And then Mayapur was attacked by gundas, by robbers. And they threw kind of homemade bomb like this in a temple. It was not very powerful, it just hurt a few devotees, but it fell exactly there where the sannyasi was standing with his paralyzed leg, and he took the leg off. So he was going, finally when he recovered, he had only one leg, so he just said, I was dragging that thing behind me anyway all the time, now I have to drag anything, I mean, who is thinking like this in the material world, That's the attitude to a devotee, actually, to the whole body altogether. One day it's gone, the devotee goes, I was dragging that thing around for so many years, This is generally how devotees think. Not that they want to destroy things, but when they are taken, okay, what do I need it? Like example, the older you get, the whole life is programmed to simplify things. Because you cannot do so many things, and you cannot, no, you have to wind it up, you have to simplify things. Like when you are packing and you go on a trip, on a voyage, well then you have to think what do I really need. When you live in a house, you think, oh, I have these things in the cellar, and I have these things in the loft, and I have so much paraphernalia here. But when you go on traveling, you have one suitcase, then you start to think, okay, what do I really need? And suddenly you realize you can live from a suitcase. Awesome. It's possible, actually. It's not impossible. So that's how devotees think while leaving this world. They think, what do I really need? I thought, I need so many things while living here. What do you really need? And ultimately, devotees conclude, I need only one thing, and that's memory of Krishna. That's the only thing I need in my luggage to go. I just need only the chanting of the holy name. That's all. I don't need anything else. As simple as that. And suddenly, simplifying life is a very blissful thing. I mean, look, ask any grihastha how it is to live in a big house full of paraphernalia. I mean, so much anxiety and so much arrangement and so many things. You can see, just to live in this little house and this little temple and this little things. And there's constantly something going on, breaking, fixing this, fixing that. Especially because people are living quite irresponsibly in such a facility. So, problem. And what kind of pleasure you get out of it? Like look at our neighbors, they're nice people, they sit there, they living, that's kind of established Danish population, nice. And then what? You can see the children just, no fun, just silence. This would never happen in India. First of all, a house means, there's 500 people inside, and there is sound and there's all the time, the whole night even. Here, just silence. One house, 3-4 people maximum, they sit there. Silence. Just the screen sound, the computer screen, the TV screen, On the first floor there is another one sitting, looking, doing nothing. It's like a graveyard. It's dead. There's nothing going on. And that's the problem with preaching. That people are not seeking anymore. They are not moving anymore. They are sterilized, stagnated, paralyzed. They don't seek. When you listen how Prabhupada was preaching in San Francisco, in New York, especially San Francisco, people were constantly on the move. These hippies, they were always looking for something, seeking something. Hey, there's a Swami in town, let's go and check it out. This word, check it out, was all the time in the air. Let's check it out. Hey, this is a new white cube, what is it? Well, it's LSD, let's check it out. Everyone was checking something out. From drugs to swamis, everything was checked out. Everybody was checking something out. Now nobody's checking anything. They're just consuming. It's coming completely passively. That's unfortunate, but it can change again. Nature goes through periodical cycles where things are changed again. So there can be more opportune moments, but for us it doesn't matter. We do the same thing again and again. It's like we invite young boys here to come, and they go, I'm coming. And just as the wind is changing, they are thinking, sorry, I'm not coming. It's just the wind changing. I don't know what's happening there, because probably kind of last minute they go, hey, I'm not coming. I think dogs are more predictable. Even dog can instantly change the direction if the smell is, something brings something, the nose, smell, immediately he changes direction. Like you see a dog walking and he passed by a tree where another dog urinated, he stops immediately, and he's stuck to the tree immediately. And these boys seem to me to be exactly on the same level, They walk and they smell some tree and they get stuck immediately. I'm not coming. I'm coming, not coming. Well, I will come next week. not coming. Coming, not coming. Completely mental platform. Sankalpa, vikalpa. Accepting, rejecting, spinning around like this. So of course, it's difficult to preach. But nevertheless, we have to make maximum arrangements. They get stuck somewhere on the way with Krishna consciousness. That means that's preaching. We are prasadam, we are sound, we are presence, devotee presence. We just have to be present, that's all. Anyway, any comments to this?
I guess it must be quite more the ignorances that you make promises and don't fulfill, because it's not normal human civilization. I'm just wondering.
Yeah, this is exactly right and correct human observation. When you say a promise, at least some of them, actually, they announce that I'm not coming. That's already quite something. Yeah. They let you know I'm not coming in the last minute, you know. Yeah. But even this kind of changes, it shows you what kind of condition the society is in. You know, but that happens all the time. I mean, that's where I get shocked. I get shocked how fast it goes, how dull people are. You get first angry, you know. What? You know, how can he be so ruthless? But most of the time, practically all the time, you realize he's absolutely not knowing what he's doing. He's gone. It's like the dog, you know. You know, chastise. Sometimes you see the dog walks very fast, the master walks very fast on a line. And then suddenly the dog makes really a right turn to the tree and stops, and the master almost falls on his nose because he's just holding the leash, you know. Yeah? It's exactly the same thing. It's just the animal. Smelling, stopping, right turn, urinating. That's it. You know, this is how people live. Unbelievable. For a devotee, and because there's no social rules anymore, there's no etiquette, there's nothing. There's nothing left, you know.
Also drugs, I think drugs has an effect. I know for myself, I was quite conscientious, but when I got into drugs like that, then I couldn't keep appointments, promises, and I didn't care.
Yeah, that's the point. You don't care. Mm-hmm. You don't understand what a damage you do to others. Okay, you make a promise, you attempt to do some action, you attempt to arrive in some place, things like that, and you cannot because of circumstances. Something happens. I don't know. The car breaks down, and then you make an attempt. Maybe you cannot even contact that person right now, but you contact it as soon you can and say, sorry, this happened, you see, I cannot come, or, you know, like that. It's all, you know, material world. Yeah, it happens. Again, I'm so grateful for my communistic upbringing. Because believe it or not, you know, in those, you know, communistic days I grew up, the dealings between the humans, because there was simply not so much sensual out there. There was no really drugs in the society. There was, you know, I grew up without TV even, and we had no TV. We had no car, you know. I had maybe 5-6 toys. You know, at the peak of my toy, I had 10 toys. And I had them in a glass cupboard, and every evening I put the toys next to each other. Cars usually. You know, yeah. That was my toys. From that I could generate a whole universe. I could play for a whole day just on a carpet. The carpet had a pattern which remembered me when I was sitting. So I made roads, and then I just constructed walls there. You know, I had it all in the head. You know, nowadays people don't have even that kind of creativity because all the images are served out to them, and they just consume it. You get just amazed when, like young men, when they have some hobby. You know, they do something, some hobby. You know. Because usually the hobby is just to stare at something. You know. It's boring. It's absolutely boring. They stay at something. Because it's all created for you already. Hollywood created, internet created, and you just consume. You don't have to create anything. And it makes you, this technology makes you insanely impersonal. Insanely impersonal. Like I remember when I was a small child, when I got really bored, I was looking for somebody to play with. You know, there was nobody. There was just, I remember, this was my first dating. It was just a girl in the neighboring place. You know, and I have to say, I rather like to play with girls than with boys, because boys was always some injuries and there was always some macho thing and always this competitive spirit. I didn't like boys at all. You know, this, kick the ball, good ball, boom! I hated sports and this kind of stuff because it was all competition and power and macho and I hated that stuff. And I remember that girl was, she was serving me tea with little cups. There was nothing inside, you know. And then she was, and I had to really behave, you know. She was chastising me all the time. When I do this wrong and that wrong, and she was completely controlling me. And I liked it. I was thinking, this is wow, this is like an etiquette, you know. We sit down and we eat, and she had the little cups like this, and then I had to behave, you know, on the table. It was a whole social thing going on. You know, yeah. That was it. You know, she had the little cups and I was pretending I drink a tea and I put the cup down again. She was basically treating me like a girl, you know. So I thought, this is more cool here. This is more. And this was once a week or something like that. I just don't want to be here biographic. It's hilarious. But I thought, this is, you know, we had a whole little micro society. I was like visiting here and she was serving me tea and, you know, and I was just sitting there on a little table like that and, you know, and she treated me like a puppet. And I was like, okay, yes, yes. And then and of course, then we start to play and, you know, and I was after a while saying, this is too much mode of goodness, you know. So some passion has to come up. And I don't know how that was created, that situation. I just know I was chasing her through the apartment. We were running around. They had a big apartment from one room to another. And she was always slamming the doors in front of me. Obviously the parents were not at home. And I pushed the door open and we were running around the whole apartment until we came to a glass door. And she just smashed the glass door, you know, in my face, and I tried to push it, forgetting it's glass. So I went, you know, through the whole glass door, you know, with my hands. You know, I still have a scar here from that. Cut up my arm open, there was blood everywhere. I was going to the place where my mother worked, which was like 3 kilometers, with the blood dripping from the arm like this. Mama! You know. It was hilarious. Anyway, I remember that story it was actually one of the very few children I knew when I grew up. But there was some kind of, you know, everything, this personal dealings of a very precise nature. It was very intense, you know. It was not like today, there's even an advertisement, I think, on the internet about parents in the evening, you know, lying in a bed, in a bedroom, actually sitting. He is writing something on his laptop, she's reading a book, you know, a couple, older couple. And then bang, you can hear, kids are coming home. and then they miss the door. Instead of going into the boy room, the whole party, 4 of them, with girls and this, they bump into the, you know, into the bedroom. They fall over the bed of the parents, you know, and everybody has a mobile phone. And they are constantly chit-chatting with the phone and showing to each other. Completely gone. They don't even notice the parents are there. And then they get out of the room again. It takes a few seconds. And then the wife looks at the husband like, what was that? And he goes, yeah, kids coming home. You know, just completely, just, you know, no, there's no respect, there's no relationship, there's nothing. You know, it was actually in the communist countries, being neighbors automatically included some kind of social interaction. in terms of help, sometimes in terms of conflict also, of course. But here people live like next to each other or something. Yeah. I just was yesterday tempted to help the neighbor when he was scraping ice from his car. Because I have in a car, I spray. It's just a few seconds, just go and everything melts. And he was struggling. He had a bad scraper and he was just trying to get the car ready to drive. I was just thinking, I will take that bottle out and just go. And then I realized, no, don't do that. It's Denmark. Don't do this. He will feel like abused, like, what are you doing in my life? What are you doing in my life? I do it demonstratively when I'm in Scandinavia especially. I open doors for people. In the shop, I always let go the ladies first and the cashier, because I do lots of shopping, so I just let go the ladies first. And they're like, oh, yeah. And then yesterday I had a drunk, kind of average Dane, he had a red face from alcohol. But he was not completely gone, he was just a guy who just drinks. And he bought just one bottle of alcohol. And I had a whole shopping trolley full. So I let him go also first. He just have one bottle, then go first. He couldn't believe it. He was like looking at me like, shall I say thank you now or what? He was completely confused. Because obviously never ever in his life somebody let him go first, He was completely shocked. Like, what? What is this? Oh, this is so sick. This is so mad. People are so gone in their own worlds, lost, completely unaware of even that the other one exists. But to speak of how he feels, what he does, or that he even exists, it's already very difficult to accept. This is what this technology does and what this society does, and demons want to have it that way. They want to keep people ignorant in their niches so they can control them better. Even they know people will be not so productive and they will be quite stupid and dull. They rather pay for that to keep the control over the people. Because when you have people strong, individualistic, thinking, doing things, they get ideas, and then it's much more difficult to control. It's a very demoniac idea behind the whole thing. Better to keep them stoned and almost unconscious as to have some conscious people. What to speak when they become Hare Krishna, What a threat that must be. The only reasons they keep us really they don't bother with us much because they think we are just 3 people, we are users. But if you will be 3,000, you will get a different response from the peaceful Danes, They will get worried. How many more will escape our grip? Yeah?
I'm just thinking these people young people who can't keep appointments, do you think that it would be nice to let them know that this is not the human platform? Or you think they'll just be frightened from coming again?
I don't know, it depends on the power of the preacher and the purity of the preacher. I feel almost like let them have it. Maybe it's connected to my age. I'll be younger, I'll be just more pushing and pinching and giving them more hard time. But I know this is a symptom of age, even amongst those devotees I know who reach the same age like I do slowly. You become more and more, we could say lazy. Always attack stupidity all the time. Of people who deliberately and enthusiastically want to remain in ignorance. But in the eyes of a pure devotee, that sometimes pure devotees, they do cry for the state of humanity. But to imitate Vasudeva Datta would be a little bit artificializing. And we have to try. That's what Buddhist devotion is about. It's a constant strive to give them knowledge, even they don't want it. So we have to keep on trying. We have to keep on calling, we have to keep inviting people, you know, and not getting depressed or paranoid that they are not coming and what happened and all this. And this was already there in Prabhupada. There's a lecture of Prabhupada which I dedicated to that purpose. Obviously he's visiting a place where the preaching doesn't go so well, or where there is even a heavy opposition. And Prabhupada is so clear on this point. We serve here Krishna, we don't depend on the public feedback. That's our duty, that's how we are going to do. And if people come, fine. If they don't, we keep on doing the same thing. Sometimes the devotees get punished. We have to change the whole thing. You know why they come? It scares them with our devotee. No devotee. You know, yeah. There are such places. Welcome to Germany. What? You have tilak? No, don't do that. People don't like it. It confuses them. Because you have a little bit bonus in Denmark. In Denmark, people are really simple. To think you did there on this fair, you know, just, you know, hammering people prasadam on them and just practically, you know, just bang tilak and, you know, and not even iron kurtana saying just.
It was iron.
Bang.
So sorry.
Didn't look like that. you could have that blue barrel with compost next to you. They wouldn't probably mind.
But I do iron my devotees.
Huh?
These programs I do iron my devotees, but maybe I should have a course in iron properly.
Maybe. It's not in Germany. It's just, you know, they would not let you in. You wouldn't get into such a thing. You would have to have some completely undercover and possibly Sika, maybe you would get away with that. Maybe. Tilak and Kurta. It's like, you know, it's like preaching from a bedroom to them, you know. And then, you know, and then you just hammer it on them, you know, and you have this, all these Danes, they look same to me. It's all like advertisement for Tuborg beer, you know. It's big bellies and they go, no, and just hammer it on them, you know, just bang. And they take it. And they cool it off, you know. They don't ask who did it, they don't ask where it's coming from, they don't ask what just, you know, it's pizza. It's pizza, it's all pizza, the whole Denmark is pizza, you know. So simple to preach here, you know that? So actually, it's a very good place. There's a minimal resistance like this. But we also have to be practical and see what they can take. It's not so intellectually. Sorry, I have to say it's not this. And why to make them uneasy with this? Krishna consciousness can come on all levels. That's the beauty of it. Sound, taste, philosophy, everything is there. It's just like this. On every level we can come in. And even they don't understand what you are talking about, you know, but they appreciate, Darwin, hey, yeah, bad, okay. You know, then you just installed it in their brains. Darwin, stupid, okay. Even maybe they never heard about Darwin in their lives. They don't look to me like Darwinists, you know. But you install the program. Darwin, stupid, okay. you know. That's what we are doing basically. But it's most countries are like that. It's just Denmark, it comes in such an innocent form. You don't know it, you are born here, you live here, but it's just... I always said to German, you know, haben Sie Erlaubnis? Do you have permission, you know, that's the first thing they ask you in German.